This is Hoodies. Testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2. Man, it's finished doing my push-ups. Sheesh, I pumped them out. Quick 50 piece. Word. Quick 50 piece. Yeah. Quick 50 piece. Yo. I think I got my breath now. Damn it. Quick 50. But anyway. Welcome back to another dope session of Footies the Podcast. I'm the host of Garbage Shitty, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Maybe not so live, but we coming at you. Yeah, let's put one in the air for Hoodies the Podcast. Word, one in the air. Listen, man, let's keep the applause going. Word. Salute to you if you were born today, like fresh out the womb, or you've been here a while. More life. Sorry, new life, more life. I'm excited. I'm pumped up right now. Yeah, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's in good spirits. I would like to thank you for all the warm energy that you sent my way. The warm, good energy. I appreciate it. I'll keep sending it to you. Right. So just the same, I would like to extend my condolences. You know what I'm saying, to people who's watching right now, who's lost a loved one. You know what I'm saying? Someone whom they've truly respected, loved, and learned a lot from. A mentor, a parent, a close cousin, a sibling. My heart goes out to you, man, sincerely. You know what I'm saying? I understand that a lot of times when people scroll through social media, including YouTube, looking for content, sometimes they want some content that's going to make them feel better. Something inspiring or whatever. Or just something to take their mind off what they're going through. Right? So yeah. So if you are someone who's going through, something serious with a loved one, or maybe even with yourself, man, I'm sending you some warm energy, man. Some good energy. You're going to make it. All you got to do is believe in yourself, dead ass. You know what I'm saying? Believe in you. When it all comes down to it, you can read this, write that, you can listen to this, listen to that. You can believe in this and that, but at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself enough. That's it right there. That's key as far as I'm concerned. You have to believe in yourself enough. Otherwise, you're putting the loving and believing in you up to something or someone else. Listen, with religion and all these subscriptions to various things, right? There's a serious shortage of people who believe in themselves, right? So listen, if you are one of those people, I would strongly urge you to not be one of those people. Believe in yourself. Look at yourself. That's where it starts. You know what I mean? Look at yourself in the mirror and don't leave that mirror until you learn to love who's looking back at you. I think then you'll start to believe in yourself. Look at your track record. You've been through mad shit. You understand? And you're still here. You know why? Because you could read this and read that. Sure, you were inspired. But it's what you did with that inspiration. You understand? It's what you did with it. It's what you did with the passages and scriptures you may be reading. You said, you know what? I am going to apply said jewels. Listen, I don't care what people tell you. You don't believe in you, you're going nowhere. Nowhere. So yeah, I send you some warm energy and some encouragement to believe in yourself. Right? So at the same time, I would also like to give out an RIP. Yes, an RIP. The rap game, the hip hop game, lost a pretty decent DJ, producer, whatever you want to call him, and he goes by the name of Irv Gotti. His government name is Irving Domingo Lorenzo Jr. Irving Lorenzo Jr. You know what I'm saying? I want to say he's like the record exec of Murder Inc. Records. Ironic, right? Murder Inc. Records, right? He gave us phenomenal acts like Ja Rule, you know what I'm saying? Ashanti, right? definitely DMX. Now, DMX may not have been signed to his label, Murder Inc. Records, but he is responsible for putting DMX out in front of the world. He had to actually sell the moniker, the energy that made up DMX. And if you know, you know. He had to sell that to these record execs and say, yo, this is the next one. And he was. And he gave us an exceptional talent, some exceptional energy. DMX. Rest in peace to him as well. Right? So a legend in his own right. Can't take nothing away from the brother. You know what I'm saying? In spite of the things he may have had with other rappers. Not saying that, you know, in that rapper being 50 Cent, right? Now, 50 Cent, I believe, and I don't want to stay on that, but I believe 50 Cent had beef with Ja Rule and Irv Gotti because they befriended someone that 50 had beef with out in the streets. Someone 50 believes tried to have him killed. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the movie Get Rich or Die Trying, the guy in the movie Majestic is depicting a real life character named Supreme. You understand? And from the outside looking in, I don't know none of these people, but from the outside looking in, 50 Cent seems to be one of those people that if you associate yourself with my enemy or my ops, as the youngins call today, then I got beef with you too. Right? So 50 Cent has had some choice words, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the passing of Irv Gotti. But that's between them. I think that's some lingering street shit. None of my business. I ain't touching that. Right? But yeah, man. So how about a moment of silence for the now late Irving Lorenzo, also known to the world as Irv Gotti. Moment of silence. Word. Yeah, man. And again, send some good energy out there if anybody was going through something. You know what I mean? Maybe you got a loved one that's sick. Your mom's pops going through a procedure. Not too long ago, my mom's had to, you know what I'm saying, get her knee replaced. She got a titanium joint. Her healing journey is coming along. It's coming along. She's a trooper. Physical therapy, everything. Because even though you're healing up, you gotta move that thing. You gotta move that leg or whatever arm or whatever the procedure was done on. You gotta move it. You know what I'm saying? And she dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? Got a walker and everything. And she says the swelling is from like, I think it's her right knee, right? The swelling is from like her ankle to her thigh. Whew. That's some swelling, man. That's swelling. Swelling your melon. Yeah, that's swelling. So, but yeah, man, shout out to everybody who's going through something. Shout out to everybody who's going through something that we don't know nothing about, and they still got that poker face on. They still making it happen. I salute all y'all, man. So now that we got the intro out of the way, y'all came to hear something. I ain't sure where this is going to go, but let's go ahead and do it, man. That's why we here, right? Let's go, man. Yeah. So listen, man. I got a feeling right now, right? I got a feeling that this episode is going to be much like the check engine episode. And see, once I edit an episode, I don't really watch it like that again. So it's possible that I may say some things similar to what I said in that. And what I feel compelled to talk about today is something that I don't think you can say enough of, right? But first I want to say this because I ain't gonna front. I am feeling some type of way about the passing of Irv Gotti. Not because I was so much of a fan, but because Irv Gotti is just 4 years older than me. Was just 4 years older than me. You know what I'm saying? Health is wealth. Definitely. Right? But here's something that I've noticed. That a lot of hip hop dudes, a lot of hip hoppers, rappers, DJs, producers, I'm starting to notice, right, that a lot of them don't necessarily make it. Well, let me say, a lot of them don't make it to their ripe and old and ripe, whatever the term is, right? There seems to be this consistent thing from like early to late 40s you know, and ultimately early to late 50s. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, fast, in a hurry. This phone acting funny. So take, for example, Dave from De La Soul, right? Dave, that was his name, Dave from De La Soul. His real name is David Jude, and I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name out of respect. But he was also known as Dave the Dove, Plug 2, whatever you want. He had a couple names in De La Soul. You know, it's 3 members, right? So Dave, at the time of his passing, he passed away in 2023. He was 54. 54 at the time, right? DJ K Slay, you know what I'm saying? Government name is Keith Grayson. When he passed back in 2022, was age 55, right? Bizmarkie, you got what I need, and you say he's just a friend. And you say he's just a friend. Oh, baby, you. It's my body telling me I need to drink some water. My throat dry. But y'all get the point, though. Bizmarkie, government name, Marcel Theo Hall. Marcel Theo Hall. When he passed away in 2021, he was aged 57. Okay, DMX. We spoke about DMX. Real name Earl Simmons. By the way, back in 2004, I read DMX's book. Phenomenal book. Check that joint out. His childhood was, man. A lot of things that we from the outside looking in. I don't know him personally, but a lot of the things that we've read about him in different hip hop magazines, Vibe, Double XL, The Source, things like that, you see why he became the person he was. Dope book. You should check it out. Real name Earl Simmons. Let's see. When he passed, he was, give me a second here. Oh, he was age 50. He was 50. DMX. Heavy D. Remember Heavy D? The overweight lovers in the house. The overweight lovers in the house. Heavy D. Real name Dwight Arrington Myers. Right? Let's see. He passed away back in 2011. Doesn't say his age, but he was born 67, passed away. No, he was 44. I see it now. Age 44. Damn. These brothers are young, man. Prodigy from Mobb Deep. Real name Albert Johnson. You know what I'm saying? He was age 42 when he passed away back in 2017. Prodigy, the reason of his passing, he was found unresponsive by hospital staff, and 2 days later he was pronounced dead. You know what I'm saying? See, Prodigy dealt with sickle cell disease. He's also got a great audio book. I haven't read the actual book, but great audio book. You should check that out on Audible. You know what I'm saying? Dope book. And he's had a rough childhood himself. A lot of it self-imposed, but a rough childhood nonetheless, right? But he did deal with sickle cell, and it was later confirmed that I think he choked on something while in the hospital. Heavy D, his cause of death, it was a sudden death, right? And it was due to pulmonary embolism caused by deep leg vein thrombosis. DVT for short. That's Heavy D. DMX, heart attack. They said he suffered cerebral hypoxia. Not necessarily sure if I pronounced that right. It's DMX. Bizmarkie, type 2 diabetes. And he also died from a stroke. I don't know if I mentioned the cause of death with Irv Gotti, but a stroke is what ultimately what was the cause of his death. DJ K Slay, like I said, he was 55, and he had a long battle with COVID. You know what I'm saying? Dave from De La Soul, congestive heart failure. Wow. Rest in peace to those brothers, man. And I just noticed that, there seems to be a pattern that a lot of our, pioneers in the rap game, because I'm a hip hop head, for the generation before me, soul, you know what I mean? And I think before that, maybe disco was the wave, disco, jazz, or whatever. I came up in the hip hop genre. That was my bag. So these are people that I grew up listening to. You know what I mean? But real quick, before I go any further, I'm gonna play this clip right here with Irv Gotti. In this clip, he's on Drink Champs with Nori and DJ EFN. Check this out right here.
Dying, hurry up and die. Yo, it's crazy.
And you good? Like you got it under control?
No.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Okay, because when you been diagnosed, or this is a recent thing?
I've been diagnosed with diabetes forever.
Because it's like the smallest I've ever seen you. Like
it's hereditary.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been diagnosed with diabetes.
You have to do insulin?
Time to time, not all the time, but time to time.
Okay.
When my number gets too high, shot.
All right. Wow.
I heard that it's reversible.
Yes, it's reversible, but
it's really a diet thing.
You got to change the way you eat.
Like be a vegan?
You got to all that. But you know it's fucked up with diabetes. So anything that's you're going to like or taste good, horrible for you.
Mm-hmm. Fried chicken.
Forget it.
Killer.
Like carbohydrates are all sugar.
Cupcakes.
Not killer.
Liquor sugar.
Now what's some
tuna fish sandwiches?
What's some nasty shit?
The watermelon? You can't have no watermelon?
I can have fruit, but
he has to watch how much of the sugar.
Yeah, I said watermelon, not fruit.
No,
watermelon is a whole different thing for black people.
This is why my kids get mad, because I'm be telling them like, yo, I'm gonna live.
Right.
Like, y'all motherfuckers want me to die.
Right.
And not enjoy life. I'm gonna enjoy life and do certain shit.
Right.
No, Dad, but you can't do that. I'm like, all right, stop me.
All right.
Because it's like I gotta live.
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna have the fucking
watermelon. Goddamn, make some watermelon.
But what you're supposed to do, exercise.
Right.
Moving on.
Right.
So, you said something before we started rolling, and if you don't want to talk about it, we could edit. But you're saying your family was telling you not to come here because of a health condition. Like, because health is important for all of us.
Right.
My boys and Angie, my daughter is the illest protector of me.
Right.
She'll fuck somebody. Yeah. So
make some noise for your daughter. Your kids.
My kids. They just didn't want me drinking and smoking.
Yeah. All right.
You know, my diabetes, my number's been high. So they just wanted me to. He's like, Dad, you can't do Drink Champs. I said, yo, I ain't gonna drink or smoke.
Explain to somebody, my bad for cutting you off, but explain to somebody who don't have money. Like, you know, you're talking about the money that you had, the money that you made, and you're still dealing with diabetes. Does having money help you with diabetes, or that's no way? It
helps a little, because you could get a chef, you could nutritionist, you could get
proper medical attention if you don't have money.
So yeah, money helps.
Word. So he says it himself, right? He's had diabetes since forever. Notice his sentiments when he made reference to one of his kids, trying to encourage him to eat better, because apparently they want him to stick around, right? And notice how he's saying, stop me. Who gonna stop me? I'm gonna live. Basically, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do regardless. You know, I suppose the admirable part of that is I guess one day just saying, fuck it. I'm gonna go out on my own terms. I suppose I respect that. It's a bit selfish, but hey, some people can look death in the face and say, whatever, man. I'm going to do what I'm going to do anyway. It is what it is. Right? But let's talk about that. Let's talk about our loved ones and even ourselves. I'm going to put everybody in this bowl of gumbo. I'm going to stir everybody up in this. But it's something to be said about ourselves and our loved ones. There's something to be said when, call it whatever you want, a doctor, your primary healthcare provider, physician, whatever. Physician is probably lower than the rest of those. I don't know. Point is, it's got to be something heavy to be strongly advised to stop drinking or to seriously cut back on drinking. It's got to be, there's something to say about someone who refuses to stop smoking. There's something to say about someone who constantly puts themselves in stressful situations, because that'll kill your ass too. It's got to be there's something to say about someone who's told by their doctor or whatever, you need to cut back on the sodium. You need to cut back on the red meat. Cut back on the fried foods. There's something to be said about when your doctor says you need to lose weight. Right? And I can name a bunch of things. Stop doing drugs. Stop snorting. Listen. There's something to be said when we are strongly advised to not do those things. To not do the very things that are shaving years off our lives. Years, months, minutes even. And then strongly advised to work out and exercise. Right? But in spite of all of that, of all of those things, by your doctor, your loved ones, and yet you still won't stop. I don't know if I can say you can't stop, unless, of course, it's heroin. Now, heroin is a motherfucker, I've heard. That's a motherfucker. Like, you quit that shit, it'll make you sick. From the movies I've seen, I have to admit, I've never met a person who did heroin or was ever even on it. Some former, crackheads, let's call it what it is. Yeah. Former alcoholics, yeah. Former pill poppers, yeah. But never anybody that's been on that H. Right? But there's got to be something said about folk who just can't stop. No matter what you say to them, they cannot stop. And I don't know if can't is the right word to use. From the outside looking in, it seems mostly like they won't stop. And look, a lot of times we say things and we base a concept or a thought off our own experience. You know what I'm saying? I ain't here to toot my own horn, but I ain't here to ignore my own experience either. But I've been advised to quit doing certain things. I remember I may have mentioned this to y'all before. I mentioned going to the VA. It's been a while. It's been some years, but I went to the VA. And let me tell you how the dude tricked me out of quitting Black & Miles. I think he was a physician, doctor, healthcare provider, all the same shit to me. He says, finish this sentence. My health is important to me because why? I say, my health is important to me because I want to see my kids become men. My sons become men. And then I want to see their sons, daughters, become women and men. I want to stick around for that. And just like that same day, I was done with Black & Miles. Black & Miles was those cigars come in like a 5-pack. That was my alternative to smoking cigarettes. Now, when I was in the military, I smoked like a fucking chimney. If I was in uniform, in my front pocket, I've said this to y'all before a while back, I always kept some smokes on me. Pack of Newports, box. And if they didn't have those, Newports 100, box. If they didn't have either one, I would get some Cools. A lot of fucking tar. And then I quit that, cold turkey, by the way. That's why I struggle with can't. I think sometimes it's a matter of, people just won't. I quit cold turkey. Cold turkey, I quit. Started back up again later on. Met a broad. She was a smoker, so I kind of got right back in that pocket. Then when she and I were through, I quit again. Cold turkey. Cold turkey, baby. Cold turkey. But, like an idiot, I then started smoking Black & Milds. Which, you ever seen all the chemicals in cigarettes, man? So, I'm saying that to say I'm sure there's a lot of chemicals in Black & Milds too. Probably not as much. Again, you ever seen the ingredients that's in cigarettes? I think it's rat poison and some other shit in there. Bam. What's rat poison? Why you need rat poison for cigarettes? And some of y'all swear up and down they ain't trying to kill us. But in that case, we're killing ourselves. There's even a warning label on the side. Right? Anyway. But then eventually, as I told y'all, I went to the VA and I ended up not smoking that. I was a heavy drinker at one point in time, believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? Got a DUI. Dead ass. Got a DUI. But, you know what I'm saying? Healthcare provider says you need to cut back. Shit, I cut the fuck back. So again, I struggle with the can't. I don't think I've indulged in anything that I couldn't walk away from. At least I'm 50. So listen, my experience up until this point in my life, I've never experienced anything that I couldn't walk away from. I have faith in myself enough to know that when I put my mind to something, I can do anything. I can quit anything. That's still doing, right? So at this particular point in my development, I don't know what that's like. So until I'm able to see that, or until it's explained to me why someone can't, why it's can't instead of won't, this is just where I'm at. You watching my pod, right? All right, so you're going to get my POV. Let's kick this around a little bit. You think that is a form of mental illness? You know what I mean? You think it's a form of mental illness to keep continuously putting ourselves in stressful situations? Because that'll kill you too. Imagine repeatedly putting yourself in stressful situations, even though it's killing you, and probably killing them too. It's gotta be some sort of mental illness. It's like a glutton for punishment. You know? When I was full-time barber school, not when I was an apprentice, but when I was in full-time barber school, it was the other side of the water in Norfolk. This place called Genesis Beauty and Barber School. Now the owner of the school, he was also an instructor, but the owner of the school, his name was Mr. Blow, James Blow. Heavy smoker himself. I'm saying pack a day plus. You know what I'm saying? But if you know, if you've been around heavy smokers, and he's not the only one. I've been around a few older elders who've been just smoking their ass off majority of their lives. Right? And I mean, even when you get next to them and hear and when they speak, that their breath smells, every word it smells like an ashtray. There's a smell that all this up in here is just nothing but tar up in there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I've had conversations with the elder who had emphysema because he smoked just that much, and then he would show pictures, of him when he was young, and I swear every picture he was in, there was a cigarette in his mouth or his betwixt his fingers. You know what I'm saying? Again, heavy piece. When it's killing you. When it's killing you, it's shaving years off your life. And yet you can't and yet you won't stop. You know what I'm saying? You know, listen, if you listen to the original theme song for Hoodies, the podcast, in the original theme song, I actually say, toward the end of the song, rest in peace to the God Queens.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Welcome to the podcast. Y'all ask, what I'ma talk about with y'all ass? Everything from Nostradamus, Lil Pump, all the way down to Donald Trump. But black issues will be always at the forefront. Hoodies, I know that's just what y'all want. Black life, black love, all of the above. It's King Rashidi hoodies, isotone gloves. I'm ready, it's Rise God Team. Rest in peace to the God Queens.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Probably explain this to you too. Queens is a brother I used to work with in this barbershop called Tomorrow's Image. Tomorrow's Image. Queens was cool. I called him Queens because that's where he was from. Queens. His real name is Christopher Herring. You know what I'm saying? Close people to him from where he's from, you know, we'll call him Knot. K-N-O-T. Knot, because that's what, boom, he put a knot upside your head. Keep running your mouth, man. Hey, keep talking, son. You know? Knot. But he was pretty open about him having diabetes. Now, I'm not sure which type, whether it was type 2 or whatever. But he would be in his barbershop around me and other barbers. And, you know, I saw him prick his finger, saw some blood. And he had some sort of device. Not necessarily sure what he was doing with that. But yeah, he wasn't shy about it. But prior to him being diagnosed with diabetes, he shared with me another time. It wasn't in secret, no, nothing like that. It was in front of people where he pulled up his shirt and showed scar tissue across his chest and his stomach, this, that, and the third. Just pulled his shirt up and showed it. I was like, damn, word? What happened to you? And he was like, yeah, the doctor said it was because of my drinking and, you know, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And then time goes by, maybe a year or so, and now, you know, he's got diabetes, you know? So good brother Queens was a drinker. Let's keep it funky. I'm not putting this business out there like that. This is, I suppose, a cautionary tale. So I'm using this information for something great. But he had a thing with drinking. And I'm almost certain that was ultimately what took his life. I'm sure drinking was something he was not supposed to be doing. Excuse me. And yet he did it. Excuse me. Word. It's my body telling me that I need more water. And add that to the list with family, your primary healthcare provider. Add our body to that too, because it's not just your primary healthcare provider and your loved ones telling you that you need to chill. You need to fall the fuck back from whatever it is that's fucking you up. Your body is telling you too. Because again, our bodies are talking to us. You know what I'm saying? Get a chest pain. Or some folk, and I'm not saying this is exclusive to people who are overweight. Because, well, if I'm being honest, I've only met one slim dude with sleep apnea. You know what I'm saying? And he had asthma and asthma or something respiratory already popping off. So I'm not sure if that played a part in his respiratory situation as well. But he did have sleep apnea. But on average, it's mostly overweight to obese folk who's got sleep apnea. I would say, okay, I'm of the belief that if you got a machine on your face while you sleep, your body is telling you something. Your body told you something and you had to make adjustments. Body is talking to us. It's like you get that pain in your knee or something. Your car gonna let you know. Hey, hey. In other words, when you hear that squeak, squeaky, 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 your car is saying, hey, champ, I'm not good. I ain't good. I ain't good, man. It ain't nothing serious, but something going on right here, fam. Squeaky, squeaky. Y'all get the point. That was weird. Y'all get the point though. And could it be though? Mental illness. You know, granted, there's levels to mental illness. I ain't talking schizophrenia, you know, and all that, you know, I don't know. Of course not. Okay, let's not play games. I mean, it's got to be a level of mental illness. Here we are indulging in things that's killing us. And then the jig is up because loved ones see it. You know? I've talked about smokers, drinkers. It's got to be something as well to folk who will eat and eat and eat, right? And becoming obese, I would guess it's not something that happens overnight. It takes years to get there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about. It takes years for that to it takes years to accomplish that because you got to work for that shit. Now imagine yourself over the years and years and years. It doesn't happen overnight. Listen, I'm on the outside looking in. You got to know the jig is up when you're trying to walk up some stairs and it's a little bit more difficult now. When that ass is starting to spread a little more when you sit next to somebody on an airplane. When it's harder to kind of squeeze by people. When the barber chair starts to slip, because, you know, it's all hydraulic. And, you know, when you pump it up, that's hydraulic. And when it's slipping because it's trying to keep the weight. And man, be so clear. Be so clear. I'm not making fun of nobody. It's just something to be said about that. Even if you're not in the mirror every day doing makeup or shaving, you got to wash your hands and, you know, sanitize yourself. You understand? You're doing that. You're getting out the shower. And you have to be looking at yourself in the mirror. So for years to go by and see yourself transform, because you see it in your face. At some point, I would imagine it'd be a little difficult to see your feet. There's something to be said about someone who will not stop eating, who won't stop eating. I don't know if can't applies. To just keep doing it. You know? But you know, listen, there's salt in everything. There's sugar in everything. That's why a lot of this food tastes so good. That's why it tastes good. Because it got sugar in it, salt in it, all this other shit. Shit that ultimately will kill us. And yo, what's crazy is that, I may have said this before too, but while they're putting warning labels on liquor bottles and cigarettes and, you know, what's that, you know, that chewing tobacco, whatever you want to call it. There's a label on that. They need to put warning labels on food. You know what I'm saying? Prolonged consumption of this product can cause heart disease. I'm talking about red meat. You know what I'm saying? Processed meat. You know? And then with things with high sodium. Prolonged consumption of this product can cause high blood pressure and ultimately stroke or something. You know what I mean? Something with mad sugar in it. Prolonged consumption of this product. I don't know a lot of sugar. Maybe diabetes. I'm not sure. I ain't sure. See, I'm being specific. I don't really know about that one. But sugar is addictive. I know that shit. There should be a warning label on it. But of course, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. But there's something to be said about when you put out a product with high this and high that. Put a warning on it. Well, it's not their fault if people keep eating too much of it. Well, it's not their fault if people drink and ultimately kill themselves. But they got a warning label on the bottle, right? Smoking. There's a warning label on the side of that cigarette box. A Surgeon General's warning. Why can't they put it on food? You know what I'm saying? And real quick, rest in peace to my man Queens. Rest in peace. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Listen, doctor tells you stop drinking. You just gotta go get you a fifth. It's gotta be some level of mental illness. Listen, I dated a woman, a young lady, some years back. I think around the 2008, 2010 time. We dated for about 2 years, so that's probably the approximate time. We dated for about 2 years, not too long enough to catch a few feelings. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, her mother ended up dying. She was heavy smoker. There may have been some alcohol use, not necessarily drugs that I can remember at the moment, but definitely drinking and smoking. She had breast cancer, among other things, related to smoking. I want to say she had some things removed. You know what I'm saying? Her breasts, I believe. Can't remember everything. But ultimately, she ended up in hospice. I didn't even know that there was a such thing as, as hospice. I didn't even know that that's where people went to just be made comfortable until they transition. Wow. I never even heard of that before. But I watched her and her brother and the rest of her family, because they ultimately came to they all came to hospice to kind of send her off. She didn't plan on having like a big funeral. I want to say she was cremated, something like that. But I just remember listening to her and her brother just talk about how selfish they felt as though their mother was. They was a bit angry. She's selfish and she didn't really think about us. She didn't think about us. We told her to stop and all she thought about was herself. And now she ain't here no more. They were angry. They were frustrated. I think the brother was a little bit more composed, but she, now her moms did marry, but I don't think she was really all that close to the stepfather. She never knew her biological father. So her mom was all she had. At least here. She's from Jersey, and I think she moved back. Because I got a client who knew her or knows her or whatever. I think he shared that with me. She left and moved back. But the point is, it's something to be said, about loved ones who, you can plead with them, hey, come on, we want you to stick around. And yet that parent is, stop me. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out the way I want to go out. And while to some level I can appreciate that, it's fucking selfish. It's real selfish. Listen, man. On your longest day, life is short. Word. Check this out right here.
Federal Reserve is not federal. How many of you did not know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal? If you did not, don't be shy. If you didn't know before today that the Federal Reserve isn't federal, raise your hand. Most people don't know that. 9 out of 10 people that I asked off the street don't understand that the Federal Reserve is a non-auditable private banking cartel. They are collecting $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. $36 million an hour in interest from the American people. My children, my 2 children, were born $86,000 in debt based on the national debt. Now, why am I going to take away from those children to give to somebody that is going to be born in 2030? It's not going to happen. So that was my decision. It was very easy. You know, you think about stuff like fear. Oh, the IRS is going to get you. They're going to take your stuff. That's not important to me. Stuff's not important to me. My children are important to me. I'm one of those mothers that will roll up her sleeves with one leg and try to whoop you if you mess with my children. And I think that a lot of mothers are like that. So this is what my decision was. And I went on and started educating people. One of the things that people asked me once I made this decision and started talking about it, how are we going to run the country without the income tax? I don't know how much Dan got into it, but the Grace Commission report that Ronald Reagan put out in 84, says that none of the money collected in income tax goes towards running the country. But the bottom line is it's not going towards running the country, so you patriotic people out there, you've been fooled. Beardsley Rummel, he was Federal Reserve Chairman back in 1946, did a speech before the American Bar Association. The title of his speech was Taxes for Revenue Are Obsolete. Within the body of this report, he says that the taxes, the income taxes for redistribution of wealth. What is redistribution of wealth? What is that? That's taking from me that I've worked hard for and giving it from somebody else to somebody else. Shouldn't I have the right to redistribute my wealth if I want to? Another question that they ask me is, how come I haven't heard this on TV or on the radio or in the newspaper? Well, sweetie, the simple answer to that is the same people who own the television stations and the newspapers and the radio stations are the same people who are involved with the Federal Reserve. And here is a little statement that says that it only requires 5% ownership to significantly influence the media. Rockefeller is one of the original shareholders of the Federal Reserve. As early as 1963, the House Banking Subcommittee reported that Rockefeller, through Chase Manhattan Bank, controlled 5.9% of the stock in CBS and the bank and gained interlocking directorates with ABC.
So, according to, I Googled, right? This is a Google, an AI overview. Here it says, yes, the Federal Reserve is part of the federal government, but it's also an independent entity. It's considered independent within the government. The Federal Reserve is the U.S. central bank, created by Congress in 1913. The Federal Reserve's purpose is to serve the public by ensuring a safe banking system, stable prices, and maximum employment. The Federal Reserve is independent because its decisions don't need approval from the President or Congress. The Federal Reserve is subject to oversight by Congress, which can change its responsibilities. The Federal Reserve's structure includes the Board of Governors, the Federal Open Market Committee, and 12 Federal Reserve banks and member banks. The Federal Reserve banks are set up like private corporations with minor banks holding stock in them. You understand? The Federal Reserve structure has been described as unique in both public and private. It's also one of the most politically independent U.S. government bodies. It's the Federal Reserve. I'm just going to leave that right there. Just chew on that for as long as you need to. Word up. Alright, man. So I'm gonna get on out of here. Pump out another 50. You know, the goal is 300 a day. You know what I mean? And that's just for starters. You know what I'm saying? Life is short. Live your life. And if I could offer my 2 cents, let me go ahead and offer about 10 cents today. I'm feeling generous. Since stress is also a killer, they call diabetes the silent killer. They call high blood pressure that too. Stress is also another silent killer. I would say one of the ways to, I don't know, if you want to get past that or combat that, and yes, this is from something I read. I read so much shit. I can't think offhand which book I got this information from. However, enjoy the now, right? Enjoy the now, the right now, for what it is, the now, because there's power in the now. The power is when you're in the now, that means you're present. You're present in this moment right here. You're getting all of me right here. I'm giving all of me to this right now. To the now. Right? Now, when something or someone comes along, I'm not saying don't enjoy it. In fact, I'm saying enjoy it. Indulge shit. Run them up, nigga. Enjoy it to the fullest. Enjoy it to the full. But should it move on, then get back to what's real. And what's real, once again, is the now. Think upon the old times when that person or that thing was here, or I was privy to it. But when it's gone, focus on what's real. And what's real is that it's gone. What's real is that we are here now. You understand what I'm saying? Easier said than done. And this ain't deep at all, because that's ultimately what ends up happening anyway when a loved one passes away. Once the pain subsides, the love resides. Then you begin to appreciate the time you did have with them, as opposed to dwelling on how they're no longer here. And that's my 10 cents. However, it's got to be something said. You know what I'm saying? When your life is apparently declining. Now choking and having sickle cell like Prodigy had, that's something different. That's not lost on me. Congestive heart failure, I'm not sure if that's diet related. I've never, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really have anything to add to that, or I can't necessarily speak to that. But yeah, and I'm gonna put that down and leave that right there, right? Before I get out of here, man, I just want to say thank you for your likes, subs, and shares. You know what I'm saying? I don't think I got any new subscribers, but word, I appreciate y'all listening to me babble. Appreciate y'all listening to me get it on, and y'all keep sending me warm and good energy. I keep sending y'all the same thing. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm the Irv Gotti. Thank you for watching. This is Hoodies. Peace. Hey, this is Hoodies.